welcome everybody to episode 22 of the Wild Blueberries Roundtable. We've got our NFC preview started up today, and let's begin. I guess I'll start with the very unsurprising, uneventful AFC South with a very bunch of mediocre teams in the New Orleans Saints. Let's start at the bottom first, though, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because, of course, they're not a good team. I don't know if Bruce Arians will make them a good team. I don't know if Byron Leftwich will help Jameis Winston at all. And even though Todd Bowles was a pretty good DC the first time around in Arizona, I don't know how he's going to fare. I mean, yeah, he has Bruce Arians again, but this is like a couple of years down the line. This is after Bruce Arians gets fired, retires, becomes a broadcaster, and goes back to coaching. You bring in Shaq Barrett and Ndamukong Suh. You draft Devin White, Sean Bunting. They did some things. They lost Adam Humphries, which is a little unfortunate. Rookie breakout, I think, will be Devin White. I mean, that's kind of the obvious thing here. White is going to be a very good player, but they made the wrong draft pick. Josh Allen was on the board. They should have taken Josh Allen. X Factor, famous Jameis, obviously. If Winston doesn't play well, he ain't getting a new contract. So enjoy becoming Blake Bortles 2.0 and finding a backup job to some other really good quarterback that's being paid a lot. I have them going 6-10 at the bottom of the division. Next up, I've got the 8-8 Carolina Panthers. And the only way they're going 8-8 is if Cam Newton is healthy. They made a couple changes this year. They brought in Matt Paradis, Bruce Irvin, Darrell Williams. They drafted Brian Burns, Greg Little, Will Greer. Greer, obviously, Newton's successor in the case that if something happens. Lost Ryan and Matt Khalil, Thomas Davis, Devin Funchess. Rookie breakout Brian Burns, and obviously I already said the X factor is Cam Newton. There's really nothing more than that. It's if he's healthy or not. It's not that he is a good player, but if he's not healthy, then can't really do much about that. So I have them going 8-8. Then at 10-6, I have the Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if 10-6 is high, if it's low. I don't know how Dirk Cutter's going to do as their offensive coordinator this year. Brought in a bunch of lower-end guys, except for James Carpenter, who they signed to a 4-year contract. And Renz and I know best. James Carpenter is not that good anymore. He's not a good guard. So the fact that they signed him to a 4-year contract is just absolutely ridiculous.
I kind of laughed when I heard that.
Yeah.
Like when it first got announced, I kind of laughed out loud.
That's not the thing you say LOL to. That's like something you actually LOL to. They lost Bruce Irvin, Justin Bethel, Tevin Coleman, who's gonna get a lot of snaps now with Jarek McKinnon being out again. Marvin Hall, Brian Poole, obviously they lost to the Jets. But they did get Chris Lidstrom, Caleb McGarry, two very good guards. I think Lidstrom's going to have a really good season. And my X factor is Calvin Ridley, because if Julio's hurt again, and if he doesn't end up playing or he never ends up getting a contract and he's done with Atlanta after this contract, Ridley's going to become that number one, and he needs to succeed there. Then we've got the Saints, who I have going 13-3, which I think is just fair enough because they really they replaced Marvin Ingram with Latavius Murray, Ben Watson with Jared Cook, brought in Eric McCoy, so that's another really good O-lineman that they got out of the draft, and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is going to be a very nice addition to their secondary. Rookie breakout Eric McCoy. My X factor for them is Marshawn Lattimore. If he could put up the numbers he put up last season, heck, even better, he could be a Defensive Player of the Year candidate as a secondary. You don't see many corners win a Defensive Player of the Year. So let's move over to the now bloated running back again, NFC East. Renz, take it away with your money man Zeke Elliott.
Okay, let's just start with the Cowboys there then. I have them second in division. I have them going 9-7 if they overachieve, like 10-6. Now that's for the sole reason of Zeke's gonna at least carry this team to at least a few wins, and the fact that they have to face the Redskins and Giants twice. That's gonna help that record a lot. It also helps they have Amari.
Also, they face the AFC East.
That too. They're gonna get a lot of wins.
The two weakest divisions honestly face each other.
They'll get the wins off of the Bills and Dolphins easy. Jets may be a little difficult with that run game that they've
got. Coin flip. You just put a coin flip, that's it.
That's a coin flip. And then New England, that's going to be a really good game. New England, Dallas this year.
Yeah. At least they have another piece in Amari Cooper. But other than that, you got the Dak Prescott, the man that wants $40 million per year and rejected a $30 million contract. That's another thing I don't want to go to.
Re-sign Amari Cooper also.
Yeah. It also doesn't help that their O-line's been declining in play, so he even has less time to make plays.
But look at the bright side, they got Jason Witten back.
That is true. Old man Witten is back, and at least he's not going to hurt our ears in ESPN.
After a year, an awful year in the broadcast booth.
I don't know what was worse.
After a very declining season in 2017.
I don't know what's worse, him or the Boogermobile. I don't know.
Well, the Boogermobile is gone, and I think Booger McFarland's actually good at his job.
He's good. It's just more like I just hated that goddamn
It was just a dumb setup.
It was. And and defensively for the Cowboys, I mean, they have pieces, but that's really all they have, pieces. They don't really have a cohesive defensive unit.
And you're completely missing a very key part to that team. Leighton Vander Esch, who had an absolutely marvelous rookie season.
Oh yeah, him and Jalen Smith are going to be like dynamite in that linebacker core. The only problem I have is the secondary. All you have is Byron Jones, and on that D line, it's just DeMarcus Lawrence. Other than that, you don't have much depth behind those guys.
Who's always pissed off, by the way. Did you see how he reacted to his Madden rating?
Oh yeah, he was pissed. I mean, they added guys like Robert Quinn to help there, and then they got a guard in Connor McGovern to also help in the run game. They didn't really do much, but they didn't really lose a lot either. And the X Factor, I mean, the average that Prescott. Yeah, I said it. He's average. He needs to do something.
Imagine if they still had one of the best broadcasters in football, Tony Romo.
I mean, the only reason why Dak got his break was because Tony Romo literally broke his back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's see. Where do I want to start? Okay, let's go with the Redskin potatoes. I don't know what you guys have them as, but I have them as 4-12.
That's low.
I think they're going to be bad.
That bad?
Well, here's the problem. Who do you have on offense? Oh, I'll answer that for you. No one. Other than Adrian Peterson and Jarius Geis. That's it.
They've got a very good running back core. I will say that.
But that's... they have good running back core. The only problem I have is that's all you have.
They don't have an O-line.
Well, they have Brandon Scherf, and that's it because Trent Williams is holding out.
Brandon Scherf is met.
Yeah. It also doesn't hurt. It also doesn't help that Case the law of average Keenum is your quarterback, and I don't want you to throw Dwayne Haskins in there. And wide receiver-wise, you have nobody. Literally nobody.
You lost Crowder. You cut, what's his name?
Doxson. And those were your two best wide receivers. Which is saying a lot. Now, defensively, they have some pieces. Like, they got Landon Collins. They got Montez Sweat in the draft. They still have Ryan Kerrigan, and Deron Payne is still looking pretty good.
Would you like to
Now,
hear the Redskins' offensive depth chart ahead of the Eagles game?
oh, it was horrendous.
Case Keenum, Darius Geis, Terry McLaurin, Paul Richardson Jr., Trey Quinn, Jordan Reed, who somehow isn't hurt already. Your line is Donald Penn, Eric Flowers, Chase Royer, Brandon Scherf, and Morgan Moses.
It's not good.
The Eagles' D-line is going to eat on Sunday.
Yeah,
Oh, no, they will.
like 4 times.
At least.
Yeah. And the X Factor, I mean, don't fuck up Dwayne Haskins. That's it. Like, and the rookie impact, it's going to be Montez Sweat. I can't see Haskins being thrown in. He has no help. Like, you're going to fuck him up that way if you don't. Okay.
Nobody does. I feel so bad for Case Keenum.
I do, because he's going to get eaten alive.
Like, I love Keenum. He may not be the best quarterback in the world, but I love Keenum. He just never gets up.
Oh, no, he definitely won in Washington. And let's go to the New York Saquon Barkleys.
No, the New York Sterling Shepherds and Saquon Barkley.
That is true. I also have them finishing 4-12. Yeah, I have both those teams being hysterically bad. So,
Cows.
yeah. So, for the Giants, I mean, offensively, quarterback, the derp Eli Manning, or you throw Daniel Jones, who has been what every Giants fan who's a knee-jerk fan is saying. He's the best, the second coming of the derp. Nah, I'm sorry. One preseason won't do that.
He looks like Eli Manning's twin.
He looks like his son. Literally. And like, okay, you have Saquon Barkley, which he's the only reason why I didn't make this team 2-14. Literally the only reason why I didn't make this team 2-14. Like, you have him, and then wide receiver wise, all you have is Sterling Shepard and a Golden Tate that can't even be used till week 5. Like, it's not looking good, and that O-line's still shit.
I mean, that's like saying the Jets can't use Chris Herndon until week 6. But at the same time,
Yeah.
actually have wide receiving weapons.
Yeah.
Is a receiving tight end.
That is true.
It would be
And
a wide receiver on the Giants.
that's the problem.
He's a damn tight end.
I mean, Evan Ingram isn't a terrible target, but I wouldn't want to make him your primary target when he's like him and one other person for like the next few weeks.
It's gonna be.
And defensively, like
On all that.
you got, yeah, and then defensively, I mean, you got Dexter Lawrence in the draft. Jabril Peppers is good. Problem is, that's it.
I mean,
Like,
Jenkins is okay.
yeah, he's okay. But really, anything to this mix. Like, Alec Ogletree's still there, and he's decent. Well, like,
That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like,
you got another guard in Kevin Zeitler. You got somebody to protect Eli this year.
you do, but it's still not a good line at all. So, yeah, I have them finishing 4-12 for the sole reason of I just don't think these two teams are going to put up a fight. I just don't. Like, they're going to win a game then and there out of, like, one of the running backs carrying them, essentially. And I feel so bad for Saquon. His prime's going to be wasted. Now we get to the Eagles, who, well, obviously finished first in the division. And I have them finishing 12-4. Now, offensively, you got Carson Wentz. He can play at MVP level. He could probably win MVP. And then you actually have weapons around him.
Yay!
Like Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson, like him. They got those guys on, and then Zach Ertz as receiving threats, and then you got running back Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders. And that O-line's still looking very good with like Kelsey and center, and then tackles Jason Peters and Lane Johnson. Like still a very good line.
Don't
And then
underrate
defense,
Brandon Brooks.
yeah, that too. And then defense, you got guys like Fletcher Cox, Brendan Graham, Derek Barnett, Nigel Bradham, Ronald Darby, Jalen Mills, Malcolm Jenkins, Rasul Douglas, and Avonte Maddox. And it does help they are adding guys like Malik Jackson and Zach Brown. Zach Brown and Endu Sendejo during the offseason. This team's very good. Now here's my X factor. The health of literally the entire team, not just Carson Wentz. The whole team. Like, can this team just stay healthy for one season, please?
They had the worst injury luck in the league.
I can't remember one team that should be playing better, but is getting hampered by every injury. Like, what did the NFL gods say that Philadelphia can have the Black Plague for like a week, for like the few years? Because if that's the case, then I wouldn't be shocked. I just don't know when it's supposed to end.
Hopefully this year, and that gets transferred to the Rams.
That would be pretty interesting to see.
So they can deal with some adversity. The Eagles have dealt with adversity the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Have 4 playoff wins and a Super Bowl. And were an Alshon Jeffrey drop from making
I wouldn't say Alshon Jeffrey.
Game.
I wouldn't say an Alshon Jeffrey drop, and Alshon Jeffrey deflection.
Yeah, but they were a catch away from making another NFC Championship game.
Yeah, they were a catch away.
And maybe back-to-back Super Bowls.
Yeah, but if I had to say one hot take for this prediction, Cowboys go 5-1. Cowboys and Eagles both go 5-1 in the division. I think they just split one game because reasons, like something.
I could see that.
And then the Giants and Redskins just die. That's it.
Yeah.
They both just die on the floor. Yeah, so that's the NFC East.
Do they split games? Do they split their games against each other? Do they go 1-5?
Yes, because they're pretty much that's the only reason why I have them as the exact same record.
All right. To continue, I will just say 2 words, and that person, they know who they are. Jadeveon Clowney.
Yes.
Nick.
All right. So, looking at the NFC West, we'll get to Jadeveon Clowney here in a little bit. I want to start at the bottom of the NFC West, and we all know that it's going to be the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah. Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, top acquisitions over the offseason, obviously we know Kyler Murray, first overall pick. They actually, the move that I like that they made was they acquired 3 wide receivers in the draft in Andy Isabella, Keyshawn Johnson, and Hakeem Butler. And I think that they're all going to be very good receivers.
It does suck that Butler's out for the year.
It does, but I think he's going to be an impact player when he does play.
Yeah, definitely.
They picked up, that defense needed a little bit of help, so they picked up a corner in Robert Alford. Then they picked up 2 linebackers in ageless Terrell Suggs. Isn't that dude like 36, 37 years old and he's still playing linebacker?
Hold on.
Dude's a monster.
Yeah, he's like 36, I want to say.
And then they also picked up Jordan Hicks. So, obviously, rookies that have the ability to make an impact are Kyler Murray. And then Keyshawn Johnson and Andy Isabella. I think that those 2 are going to supplement Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald very nicely. And I think that going forward, the trio of wide receivers that they drafted, like I said, are going to be pretty good. They're going to be another solid core of receivers, kind of like the Rams have, where they've got 3 good. They don't have an overly great receiver, but they have 3 extremely solid receivers. X factor is Cliff Kingsbury and his air raid offense. We'll see how that pans out, but it's Arizona. They're going to find a way to Arizona it. I have them going 4-12. Next, we'll go to the 49ers. I have them going 5-10.
5-10.
No, that should be. I'm sorry, 6-10. That should be 6-10. No. Oh my God, 5-11. I can type. It's fine. 5-11.
Wow, that's
They're not going to be good. They're not, and they're just. Here's the thing. So obviously they brought in Nick Bosa, great defensive end in the draft. They brought in Deebo Samuel, who I think is going to be pretty good.
He'll be fine.
And then they brought in Jalen Hurd as well, another solid wide receiver. And then they brought in D Ford, Quan Alexander for the linebacker position, and they picked up Tevin Coleman as well, which I think is kind of an underrated move that they made. Tevin Coleman, saw in Atlanta, is good at catching passes.
Especially with Jerick McKinnon spending another season on the season-ending injured reserve.
Exactly. So Tevin Coleman will at least be able to fill that void. The rookies that I think are going to impact or make an impact on this team are going to be Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurd. Because, when you think about it, I genuinely can't name another wide receiver on San Francisco.
Is Marquise Goodwin still on the team?
Hold on. You keep talking, Nick. I'm going to figure this out.
Yeah, so genuinely, I have I can't tell you who the 49ers have a wide receiver other than Deebo Samuel and Jalen Hurd. So those two are going to make an impact, and I think Nick Bosa, I know there's been concerns about his health, but I think if he's healthy, he's going to at least make an impact on that defense. He's going to be good at pass rusher. At least that's what I've seen out of him.
Jalen Hurd are listed as third-team offense. Their starting wide receivers look to be Dante Pettis and Marquise Goodwin, second-string Kendrick Bourne and Trent Taylor, then Deebo, Richie James Jr., and Jalen Hurd.
Yeah, so I've heard of Marquise Goodwin, and that's it.
I've heard
of Dante Pettis, but he's been inconsistent.
Dante Pettis is going to be he's going to be their one of their top wide receivers and their punt returner.
Yeah. So that just kind of tells you all you need to know about the 49ers wide receiver core. My X factor is, with the 49ers, it has to be Jimmy Garoppolo. Can he stay healthy?
His insane contract.
His insane contract, but can he stay healthy? Can he win games? Can he be that difference maker in San Francisco that even if their defense isn't doing all that great, Jimmy's just going to drive down the field and get you a touchdown every time. He's just going to consistently get points on the board. I don't think he's going to. I think that he was, severely overpaid when he had started literally 8 games in his career. But I guess we'll see. Like I said, 5-11. Next, we have the Seattle Seahawks. And again, glad that we did the NFC preview today instead of last week. So top acquisitions were over the offseason. They drafted LJ Collier, defensive end. They drafted DK Metcalf. They also got kicker Jason Myers, I believe.
Dead.
And then, yes, they traded for Jadeveon Clowney, and they gave up almost nothing to get him. It was actually quite absurd. Rookies that I think are going to make an impact are going to be obviously LJ Collier. I think that I'm not particularly sure which side he plays and which side Jadeveon plays, but if they can just put them on opposite sides, if one plays the right and one plays the left, I think that's going to be nuts.
I think Jadeveon's playing the left. But Michael.
Well, Collier is a defensive end. Clowney is more used as a linebacker.
Well, hold on. See.
Clowney's an edge rusher.
Oh, he is now?
That's what he was franchise tagged as.
Okay. So
he's an edge rusher.
Sure.
But he can play linebacker.
So I think that's going to be solid for that defense because, I mean, looking, they lost Frank Clark, which that's kind of big. So you just got to, and then they lost Justin Coleman, who was considered their best defensive back. So they're going to be an interesting team to watch this year. The rookies I have impacting are LJ Collier, obviously, but then DK Metcalf, he's listed as a starter for week 1. So that surgery that he had, clearly not going to be an issue. What kind of production they'll be able to get from him, I don't know. Because while he's an athletic freak, from what I understand, he's kind of just average as a receiver.
He can't route. If you see him run routes, he's so bad at it.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting, especially when this team lost Doug Baldwin to retirement. So, yeah, I think the X factor here for me is whether or not Tyler Lockett can step up and be a number 1 receiver on that team, and I think he can. I think that Tyler Lockett is one of the most underrated deep threats in the league. He's lightning quick. And then just their running back core. Obviously, Chris Carson kind of leads that committee, but whether or not they can just keep a consistent run game and because they don't have a lot of pass options. As I said, Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf. So I have them going 10-6 just because it's the Seahawks and they always seem to find a way to win games. Russell Wilson is, I think, pretty underrated given what he's capable of. And then topping the division, I have the Rams, obviously. Yep, so Goff got paid, as we saw.
He is now a rich man.
Severely overpaid.
Same deal as Wentz, essentially.
Yeah. But Wentz is better than Goff, so there's that.
Miles better.
Yeah.
The thing with Goff is that he doesn't need to do much. That's the thing.
No, he's paid a lot to just kind of look good, I guess.
Like Dak's gonna be.
Absolutely what he is.
The dude can we've only seen him throw 15 to 20 yards on the very, very occasional deep ball.
Yeah. In terms of the 3 quarterbacks from that 2016 draft, it's in terms of talent and NFL quarterback ability, it's Wentz, Goff, Dak.
Dak's gonna get.
Oh, for sure.
And Dak's gonna get the most out of the 3.
Which is the hilarious part.
Because he's the last to sign.
He's gonna get $40 million. It's gonna be hilarious.
Despite being the one that had less years on his rookie deal originally.
Yep.
Dak is in his contract year right now. He needs a new contract next year.
So I think the kind of the most under the radar move made this offseason was the Rams. They got Clay Matthews, which until I sat down to do this preview, I'd completely forgotten about. When you just, it's not really something that I ever thought of, was that Clay Matthews wouldn't be on the Packers.
They called for passer every play.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, but that was just kind of nuts remembering that. And then they also picked up Eric Weedle from the Ravens, and he's still good. He's not a young player anymore.
He's a Pokemon.
But he's still a very serviceable safety, and especially when you look at the safeties that signed this year, like Landon Collins, Earl Thomas, Tyrann Mathieu, they all got over $13 million a piece, and LA got Weedle for like 5. He's a veteran. He knows what he's doing, and so I think that's going to be huge, especially in a team that lost Mark Barron in that secondary. So I think that that those two are going to be their big top acquisitions. Obviously, they drafted Darrell Henderson, and I think he's my rookie impact is Darrell Henderson because of they say that he's going to like cut into Gurley's snap count, and he's going to get more usage than people think.
Playing.
Say again?
Gurley has arthritis. By week 4, he will not be playing football.
I mean, it's not out of the question, and I think, and so for me, that is the X factor in Gurley and Henderson and what ends up happening with that. Because for the Rams to be great, the Rams don't need Todd Gurley to be good, like to be decent, but to be great, they need Todd Gurley. And so, whether or not Gurley stays healthy, whether or not they use him like Todd Gurley can play like a premier back, and then obviously just kind of the health of the receivers too. That's a big thing. Obviously Cooper Kupp's coming back, so that triple head threat at wide receiver will be back. So I have them going 12-4 and topping the division, and that is the NFC West.
Now we've got whatever the hell the NFC North is, also known as the Lions at the bottom, and whatever the hell Renz wants to do from there. Andrew.
Wrong person.
Excuse me?
Whoever had the...
I don't think Renz did this division.
No, I didn't double duty. I didn't go double duty on 2 divisions. Yeah.
No, I've got the NFC North.
Renz put his way through the NFC East. That's what he did.
Yeah, it's the Detroit Lions at the bottom, and then it's just a bit of a clusterfuck in terms of the top of this division. The Detroit Lions, they made some additions. Matt Patricia trying to become the New England Patriots, but in Detroit. Picking up Trey Flowers, Danny Amendola, and it's just no. It doesn't work. You can't do that with all his players. They also added LeGarrette Blount. The Detroit Lions are not going to be great, but they are going to be awful. The rookie I have making the biggest impact on this team is probably going to be T.J. Hockenson, the tight end, just because that's Stafford, and they'll find a way to get him involved in the offense, and Stafford will find him. He'll turn into a pretty solid red zone threat. But the X factor to their season I have is Darrell Bevell and his ability to get an actual run game working in Detroit.
What's up?
And using Kerryon Johnson properly.
Andrew, I have a question for you. What is a run game?
In Detroit, they don't know. Because they've had incompetent offensive coordinators for the past who knows how long. And now they've got someone who actually knows how to run the ball in Darrell Bevell, hopefully calling the offense. I've got the Detroit Lions at 5-11 at the bottom of this division. In third place, well, I have kind of a tie for second between the Vikings and the Bears, both finishing at 10-6. We'll go through the Bears first. They added a couple of guys in their safety, Buster Scride and HaHa Clinton-Dix. Those will be decent additions to replace Bryce Callahan and Adrian Amos. They also added an electric rookie running back in David Montgomery to replace Jordan Howard. And I think David Montgomery is going to have a big factor on this team. Tariq Cohen is going to have a similar role to what he had last year. He's not going to be running. He's not a good actual running back. He's good out of the backfield picking up blitzes and all that, but he doesn't excite me as an actual downhill runner out of the backfield.
Tariq Cohen is a third down back, and that's all he will be.
Yeah, he's a pass-catching back. And David Montgomery is going to be the bell cow in this offense. Tariq Cohen may get a couple extra snaps here and there because he's Tariq Cohen, but he's not going to have as big a role in the offense as he did last year.
Well, don't forget. I was about to say he did play a big role in their success down the stretch. I think that obviously while Montgomery's going to get the majority of the snaps because I mean he's from all that we know he's a monster, but I think Tariq Cohen's gonna. I think personally he's gonna have just a similar usage where they're just gonna use him as that pass catching option. I mean it doesn't matter if he's only getting 6 or 7 touches a game. Like his 6 or 7 touches will be like, 3 runs for a decent chunk, and then 3 catches,
yards, maybe,
but then 3 catches for like 75 yards. Like
and
he's still a lethal threat.
Guy. He'll be a primary return guy. So there's I think that's what will make the biggest impact on the game is in his return.
Team that is basically replacing Jordan Howard with David Montgomery and using Tariq Cohen in the same role he had last year.
Yeah, so it's pretty much, I'd say it's a slight upgrade for the Bears. And I have their X factor is developing Mitch Trubisky. If he can take another step forward now in year 3, that's going to give them success if he can actually make the step forward. We know their defense is going to be solid again. Probably not as good as it was last year, but it will still be one of the top defenses in the NFL. Now I've got the Vikings also finishing at 10-6, as I said earlier. When one of your top additions is Sean Mannion as a backup quarterback, you really didn't do a whole lot in the offseason.
But what did they need to do?
They didn't really need to do a lot.
They just needed an offensive line, that's it.
And they added a couple of guys in Josh Klein and Garrett Bradbury that'll really help out with that, I think.
Bradbury should help.
Bradbury is going to start at center from day 1. That's who I have as their most impactful rookie because if he plays well, the rest of the team will play well because Kirk Cousins will have time to throw and find his receivers in Adam Thielen, Stephon Diggs, Laquan Treadwell, and yeah, he did. But
Josh Doxson, I think they picked up, right?
Yeah, they did pick up Josh Doxson. He that's an interesting addition for them, and also you being able to use Kyle Rudolph.
Now, Andrew, I have a question for you. Will Kirk Cousins beat a team above 500 this year?
I doubt it because he is not going to beat a team with what he does. The Vikings may win again a game against a team above 500, but it won't be because of Kirk Cousins.
It'll be because of Dalvin Cook and
it'll be. That's the X factor I have for this Vikings team is Dalvin Cook and the O-line. If Dalvin Cook can stay healthy and the O-line can perform as they're expected to this year and take that step forward and actually be good, the Vikings have a shot to win the division. But I have the Green Bay Packers finishing at 11-5 and winning the division. They've stolen away one guy from a division rival at Adrian Amos for free agency. They did lose Clay Matthews and Randall Cobb in free agency, and both of those are going to be losses, but not as big as you might think.
Yeah, but they spent money this year, which is huge for them.
They did. They added Preston Smith and Desarius Smith. They drafted Rashawn Gary. And this is going to be one of the best defenses that the Packers have had in a while. And they also added Darnell Savage in the draft, who I think is going to be their most outstanding rookie.
He's wearing number 21. It's amazing. He's 21 Savage.
Yeah. And the biggest key I have is the relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Matt LaFleur. If they're able to have the right chemistry, the Packers will make the playoffs. If they don't, then maybe they make the playoffs, but it's very doubtful they make the playoffs if the two of them aren't on the same page.
So you're
And that's
being on the same page starting tomorrow night.
Yeah. They've got to be on the same page starting tomorrow night, or I think they have to go out and beat the Bears tomorrow night to show that, yes, it's our first game, but we're here to play, and for Matt LaFleur to say, I know what I'm doing here, and I also trust Aaron Rodgers.
I just want you to know I have the Bears winning that game. Also have the Bears scoring first. Lots of betting.
It would be very anticlimactic if that game ended in a tie.
It would be. It would be a very interesting way to open the season.
It would be a pretty funny way.
Depending on the score, it could be a very interesting way to start the season.
A 0-0 tie.
That would be the worst way to start the season.
No, a 2-2 tie.
That would be the funniest way to start the season. A 2-2 tie.
Oh,
yeah, just safeties.
A 1-1 tie. The 1 point safety.
The elusive 1 point safety for each team.
Hey, MSU had some nice defensive they did have a safety last Friday, and hopefully we not only have more safeties and interceptions and pick sixes on Saturday, but maybe Brian Lewerke can throw a damn spiral.
Maybe, but that's doubtful.
Very doubtful, but we'll see.
So that I think that concludes our NFC preview.
Does not conclude this episode.
No, it does not.
Before final thoughts, we are doing a new segment, trivia, based on the way that it is done on the the Panago Pizza Steve Dangle podcast, where you stuff your face with deliciousness on Meatless Mondays. So I have 6 trivia questions about NHL trades. They get increasingly harder as they go on.
Oh, God.
Easy to you're screwed.
Well, I'm probably going to go 1 for 6 or something.
Let's have some fun here tonight.
You're going to PM me your answers, and then we're going to share your answers. And I could tell if you guys are cheating or not by if you change your answers, because I can see if you edited it. All right. First one. I told you we're starting it off easy. We're talking about June 29th, 2016. The 23 minutes that shocked the world. Name the 3 moves that were made in that span. PM them to me.
Yep.
Full trades, too. You're lucky I didn't tell you, I'm lucky I didn't tell you. Remember, they weren't all trades. You're lucky I didn't tell you name the order that they were put in. Like, name the order that the trades and the re-sign were announced in. Because if it was, enjoy.
That's cruel.
It's cruel and unusual punishment.
I don't even know if I had it right.
Man.
All right, Andrew.
I think I'm wrong. I'm wrong on one of these.
I've honestly got nothing.
June 29th, 2016. 23 minutes that shocked the hockey world. 3 transactions involving 5 big names in hockey happened. What were those 3 transactions? If you don't know, just take a guess.
Didn't I already send you my answer?
One person did not.
I didn't, because I honestly have no fucking... I'm kind of lost. Wait. That was... Was that the Subban Weber deal?
I don't know, was it?
That was one of the deals that went down.
Just submit what you think the answers are. Rens and Nick have sent their answers to me. Just send whatever you think you've got, Andrew. Then, if you're wrong, you're wrong. You're getting a point for each one you get correct. You're lucky I'm not saying you need all 3 correct to get the point, though. I'm not that cruel. All right. Andrew, are you done?
Yeah.
Okay. Rens, you share yours first.
Okay, the 3 things what happened is, Hall for Larson, Subban for Weber, and Stamkos just resigns in Tampa.
Rens is correct. Nick, you got 2 out of 3.
That's right. I forgot it was Stamkos.
Yeah, I forgot
it was
they were
Stamkos.
resigning.
With Stamkos.
I had Price's contract, but I knew that wasn't right. I just needed to put something in there.
Price.
At least you were close. He also signed that during that offseason.
Half mil, not 10 mil.
Oh, okay.
All right. Next question. Maybe this will be a little bit more interesting. On July 5th, 2013, the Toronto Maple Leafs signed David Clarkson to a 7-year deal worth $36.7 million. That same deal expires at the end of this season, but it's been inactive for a couple of years due to some nasty injuries that we don't like talking about. Since that contract was signed, he has been dealt multiple times. Name all the teams he was traded to in the order that the trades occurred.
In the order of God.
Not what went the other way. Just from Toronto, he's been traded multiple times in the order that the trades occurred.
Shit, I forgot where he got traded the latest. Okay.
Actually, no, I won't do it in order. Just name the teams that he was traded to.
I'm trying to remember. Where did David Clarkson end up?
Also, for reference, Jorge Soler put up the number 40 tonight.
Okay. Oh wait, now I know.
First Royals player to ever hit 4.
Yep. Okay, now I don't think this is right, but we'll see.
How many teams were there?
Bomb, 450 feet.
Oh God,
Jesus.
that's boy.
400.
Yeah, Soler's a monster.
Solar power.
30.
Did you give a specific number of teams he's been on?
No, you need to know that.
Traded more than once.
Obviously more than one.
I don't know if I have it right. But I finally found out what it was traded recently to, just because I remembered that happened.
Yeah.
David Clarkson.
That's what I've got.
That's an absolute guess. Nick, please shoot.
Yes. Yes. So he was traded to Columbus. He was then, quote, traded to Vegas, so that they would take William Karlsson, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
And then
Karlsson.
And then he was traded back to Toronto.
For Garrett Sparks.
Fun.
All right, Rens.
Yeah, I had Columbus to Vegas to Toronto.
And Andrew just threw out a couple guesses, but he got.
I had Columbus and Toronto.
He had Columbus and Toronto in his guess, so he does get 2 points for that.
There we go.
So now the questions start getting a little bit more interesting.
Well, that's gonna be fun then.
Oh boy.
So, to say the least, say one word to describe Peter Chiarelli's time as a general manager. One word. Renz, what would you think of Chiarelli's time as a GM in one word?
Perplexing.
Andrew? Andrew?
I had a word and I blanked on it.
Well, let's go to Nick.
You're a Bruins fan.
It was hell.
Well,
It was just hell.
speaking of hell, he made
Depressing.
some good trades. Cam Talbot, Pat Maroon, both Johnny Boychuk trades. That's about it. He made some historically bad ones. Jordan Eberle, Taylor Hall, Justin Schultz.
Don't forget Griffin Reinhardt.
One trade, however, takes the cake as his worst. He traded a former second overall pick to a Western Conference opponent due to a culture problem. Who am I talking about, and who else was involved in that trade?
Do you want, like, everybody involved in that trade?
Many players as you can give me.
Well, I know 3.
Hey, if you know 3, that's 3 points. Just as many players as you can give me.
So you also want the team?
Well, obviously, the team is the Dallas Stars. Just give me the team.
Okay.
Stuff.
Oh God, I'm gonna spell Sagan wrong, aren't I?
We all knew it was Sagan.
Yeah.
You gave it.
Seguin trade.
There's the Tyler. David Pagnotta. Total contract talks have picked up again recently between the Avs and Rantanen's camp. Don't get the sense anything's close just yet, but the conversations are continuing. Michael Larenton of the Reds is the first player to earn the win, hit a home run, and play the field in the same game since June 13, 1921. That man, George Herman Ruth. It's pretty impressive.
I'm trying to remember, I'm trying to think if I could know one more guy.
I think I don't even think my third player that I even mentioned is right, because I think I just selectively block out this memory.
Does it?
No, that player is correct, Nick. I will tell you that.
Oh,
here's
yes.
mine.
It's correct.
I think he's in this trade, because I know he got traded a few times in his career, but I don't know if that's right.
Since there are multiple moving pieces, since Andrew has not gone first yet, he will go first.
I'm working on it.
Give him all the time he needs.
I think Andrew's got this for some reason. I think he just knows the details of the Sagan trade.
I got, I want to say I have 4 players in there. I'm confident on 3. One of them, I'm not.
I'm pulling it up just so I can see who else was a part of it, because I just don't remember. Oh, that's right. Oh,
I actually want to look at it too, because I'm stumped on other than those 4 guys, and the one guy I'm not even sure.
Nick, now you see the trade and you're like, okay, I completely forgot about those players, right?
I forgot. Oh, I forgot about those few that I forgot.
All right. Andrew, start us off. Just name the players that you have.
So obviously we've got Tyler Sagan.
That is 1.
Louis Eriksson.
That's 2.
Riley Smith.
That's
3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, Joe Morrow.
That's 4.
And Jimmy Hayes.
He was not in the trade. All right, Renz, read off yours.
I had Sagan, Erickson, Peverly, and Smith.
Rich Peverly was in the trade. Nick?
I had Sagan, Erickson, and Morrow, because I just don't I try not to think about this trade.
I keep thinking Joe Morrow's actually young and he isn't.
So Renz has 10 points, Andrew has 8, and Nick has 8.
You forgot about
Solid.
wonderful defenseman Brian Button
Oh yeah,
and Matt Frazier.
and
Yeah.
I probably should have known Matt Frazier.
and Matt Frazier. Ryan Button and Matt Frazier were the other two pieces in that deal. All right. Now, this is either going to go great or awful, this next question.
Oh boy.
On draft day 2015, we all know the Bruins did some things.
Oh, okay.
They traded Milan Lucic and Dougie Hamilton. For Lucic, they got Colin Miller, Martin Jones, who they then flipped for a 2016 first and noted sniper Sean Corrali, and 2015 first. For Hamilton, Flames gave up their first in 2 seconds. The 5 picks that they got in the Lucic, Hamilton, and Jones deal, in no particular order, name as many of the players they picked as you can.
Bro, what?
Can you repeat the question?
The picks that the Bruins got in the Lucic, Hamilton, and Martin Jones trades, name as many players as you can that were picked from those 3 first, 2 in 2015, 1 in 2016, and 2 2015 seconds. Nick, I don't even know if you've got this.
I think I have 3.
You guys should know the 2015 first.
I know the 2015 first. I'm just trying to think, which pick did the Bruins have in those picks? Like, which one was actually theirs?
Oh, you don't remember.
I know the players. I just don't know which one of those picks is Boston.
I'll give you a hint. For those 3, the most notable was the Bruins' own pick.
Okay, so it's definitely not. Okay, it's definitely not him.
The most notable of the 3 was the Bruins' own pick.
Can you name the picks again? It was what, 2 firsts?
1 first in 16, 2 seconds in 15.
That's right.
The first in 16 was the Martin Jones trade. We'll see. When you hear these players,
They had another first in 2016?
it was in the Martin Jones trade. Nick, I'm only looking for 5 players.
Say that again, you cut out.
I'm only looking for 5 players. You gave me 6.
Whatever.
Take one out.
There's 5, Scott. If you're only looking for 5.
That's 5.
I was gonna give you 6.
Alright, I'm taking one out.
I only have 3.
Taking one out. There you go.
I only had 3, so there's no way in hell I got any of them.
Ooh, okay. You know what? I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to read off the players they got. So the 2016 first, none of you got who it was.
Trent Frederick.
It was Trent Frederick.
Oh, that's right. I always forget he's not as young as I think he is.
Wait, he was the first?
Yeah, he was the first.
Yeah, he was the first round pick.
The 2 seconds that the Flames gave up were JFK and Jeremy Lauzon.
Did not get that.
I took out the wrong person. I took Lauzon out.
I didn't get JFK.
I didn't get either.
So Nick,
Yeah, I didn't get either.
Andrew got one. They both no.
I didn't get one. I didn't have JFK or Lauzon.
One of them.
I thought it was Carlo.
So did I.
Carlo. Brandon Carlo was picked the year before.
Brandon Carlo was a 15 first rounder.
No, he's a second rounder.
Second rounder from Philly and the Islanders.
Yeah.
It was in the Johnny Boychuk trade.
Yeah.
Oh, that was the trip. Okay, who were the first?
With the first that they got in exchange for Dougie Hamilton He selected Zachary Senyshyn.
Yep, got
Yep.
him.
There's one.
I got him. I don't know if I spelled it right, but I got him.
That they got
Senysyn.
in the Milan Lucic trade. It was Jakobs Borrell.
Got him.
Yeah, got him too. So did we all get like?
Did we all get the first?
Yeah.
Nick DeBrusque was their own pick.
Yep.
Yeah, because
was their own pick. Yeah,
that was screwing me over. I was thinking like, which one of them is their actual pick?
Because they made 3 consecutive selections that year.
Yeah, I just didn't know which one was which.
Right, Andrew, you got 2.
I got 2. Yeah.
I also got 2.
So who was that last?
I got 3. That run of 3 picks was I think first was Zboril, then it was DeBrusque, then Senyshyn.
Borrell, DeBrusque, Senyshyn.
And then your own pick was the best out of the 3 by a long shot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We all know who went 16. Thanks, Shirley.
And 18.
And 18.
And 23. And 24.
And 24.
I just have to throw 24 in there because 24 is a really damn good player. Travis Kadetny.
We know. All right, so going into question 5, which is a little bit difficult, I would say so.
Oh boy.
More?
What?
More difficult?
Yes.
Please, are all of them at least this decade, so we might have a chance?
Yes.
Okay, thank God. Okay.
Maybe.
Hmm.
Well, this one is. Andrew, you've got 10 points. Nick, you've got 11. Renz, you've got 12.
So close.
This is only a 2-point question.
Okay.
February 25th, 2007. The Blues and Thrashers agreed to a deal sending a flurry of assets both ways, but it primarily involved a certain NHL father and a first-round pick in 08. Exactly 4 months later, the same 2 pieces were swapped back to their original teams. Who was the NHL father and who was selected with that first-round pick?
Wait, what?
It's not that hard when you think of it a little bit easier.
Wait, I didn't even hear, like, can you just repeat it?
On February 25th, 07,
the
Thrashers agreed to a deal, sending a flurry of assets both ways. But it primarily included a certain NHL now father, so he has kids playing in the CHL right now, and a first-round pick, which became a top 5 pick in 2008. Exactly 4 months later, the same 2 pieces were swapped back to their original teams. The player, it was his rights. The pick, it was still the pick because it was June of 07, and the pick was an 08 pick. Who is the NHL father, and who was selected with that top 5 pick?
Did the Blues get the pick?
It wasn't the Blues.
The player back. So the Blues traded the player at first for the pick, and then traded the pick for the player's rights. That does not mean he re-signed with that team. He may have not. But when you look at this deal a little bit more intense, it's
Well, there's only one Blues player that I know that got traded to Atlanta, but that's it. Is
Eric Fair part of the NHLPA? Is that a thing? Oh, that's Donald Fair. Okay. NHLPA Exec Director Donald Fair says it was a discussion and update with players tonight. No decisions taken. More CBA discussions with the NHL coming. He says discussions with the NHL so far have been cordial and free of the rancor of the last time around, so far anyway. Extending the September 15th opt-out deadline decision has not been raised, and my own sense for what it's worth is that the NHL would not be interested in agreeing to that. Both sides would have to agree to that.
God, I should probably know who's the top 5 pick.
Yeah, probably. You should. It's one of those bust first, so. According to Incarnated Bob, who usually is right, and Renz would know because he's a tri-state area-based guy. Per multiple sources, the Jets are involved in serious trade discussions with multiple Eastern Conference teams revolving RFA Patrick Laine. The Montreal Canadiens are believed to be involved. All right. Does Renz? Do you have an answer?
I know one player, but the only reason why I know him is because he had like a very small ass stint. He came back.
All right.
I feel like that's it. Is that right, Scott?
No answer. Renz, you got the player. Andrew, you got both. The player was Keith Tkachuk. The pick?
I was gonna say that, but I wasn't sure.
Wait, who is the pick?
Zach Bogosian.
Oh, wait, Bogosian?
Zach Bogosian.
We are tied. No,
legendary top 5 pick Zach Bogosian.
I'm only at 11.
Nick has 11, Andrew has 12, Renz has 13.
Renz didn't get any, I thought.
That was...
No, Renz got Tkachuk.
Oh, he did get Tkachuk?
Yeah.
Question 6. This is a simple...
Final question?
Yes. This is as simple as I can get. On June 27, 2016, the Avalanche qualified Brandon Gormley, sending him to unrestricted free agency. I said there would be nothing on the trade tree, but I never said there would be anything on the trade. Name as many pieces that the Nordiques got for Eric Lindros as you can. You got 5 minutes. Actually, no, you got 3 minutes.
Is that the Nordiques got for Eric Lindros?
As many pieces as the Nords got for Eric Lindros as possible. I will know if you looked it up, because there are a lot of pieces that went in that trade.
Well, I know the obvious one. Just players?
Oh, there were more than players in that deal.
Oh, you also want the picks.
You get bonus points if you could tell me who the picks were.
Oh yeah, there's no way. I might know the picks, but there's no way in hell I'll know who they are.
Here's the picks then.
Okay.
Actually, no. If you give me how many picks there were and what the picks were, I'll give you the points.
Nah, I already put in my answer. I know literally nothing about this trade.
If you want to include the cash involved, you can. Nick, you are eliminated. You put Joe Sakic. Joe Sakic was not involved.
Yeah, I don't fucking know.
Okay.
Nick, I'll send you it. That was the full return.
Yeah, I wasn't. No way.
Could have gotten 2 of them.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I really don't like trades earlier than maybe 05. I'm not really. I don't really know.
Next week with 11 points still, and it won't be NHL trades next week.
I don't know. I don't know if that helps or hurts me. So
there's more to this deal. I know there's more to this deal.
I'm trying to think.
Down to
I knew.
But
you got 52 seconds.
I know that there are picks in this. I just need to think how many firsts were in this trade, because that was the only thing in the trade, in the whole trade.
Thing alongside players and picks.
Well, I don't know who they drafted him with, so I'm screwed.
You have to tell me exactly how much cash was involved if you want to guess how much cash it was.
I know my Flyers history.
Well, I'm kind of screwed here. I'll say that.
Hey,
I know the money because it was more than the Gretzky deal, if not exact.
Andrew did not go for the money aspect.
I actually know the money.
I didn't remember the money.
And I only know...
I remembered players.
And I think I know the two first. I just don't know their names, so that probably doesn't count here.
I couldn't tell you who the other first round pick was.
All right. So, the players involved: Steve Duchesne,
Point.
Yeah.
Forsberg,
Point.
Ron Hextall,
Point.
Yep.
Kerry Huffman,
Point.
No, I didn't get that, so I'm probably gonna lose.
Mike Rickey,
Nah.
$15 million in cash considerations.
Oh shit! I actually got that right.
That's right.
Chris Simon.
Never was he one of the first?
No, he was part of the
Really?
future considerations, which
Oh,
included
he was.
another first-round pick. So it was 2 first-round picks.
I knew it was 2 first.
Yeah, I knew it was 2 first. I just didn't know who those 2 were.
I couldn't remember the second first round pick.
Tied at 6 right now.
The first one was Jocelyn Tebow.
The first one was Jocelyn Tebow. The second one was Nolan Baumgartner. So Andrew 7 points.
Not in a million years would I've gotten Nolan Baumgartner.
Renz got 6. So Andrew and Renz are tied going into Andrew and Renz are tied going into
because Renz had a 1 point lead on me going into this question.
And Nick's got 11.
Yeah.
It won't be NHL trades next week. I will tell you that. Right
Again, I don't know if that hurts or helps me, so we'll see.
Don't know what it is going to be next week. I will figure that out. But I think that's fun. I think trivia is fun.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah,
Are we gonna hop into final thoughts now?
Yes, we are. I'm starting. First off, Antonio Brown, you're an idiot.
For what?
You posted on your Instagram story. It was general manager.
Yeah, I posted his.
Dear Antonio, as you know, you did not participate in the Raiders walkthrough on August 22nd. The letter begins. Your absence from practice was unexcused. Accordingly, you are hereby fined $13,950 pursuant to Article 42, Section 1A VIII of the NFL CBA and the Raiders Club Discipline Schedule. You were previously fined $40,000 for missing Raiders preseason. Should you continue to miss mandatory team activities, including practices and games, the Raiders reserve the right to impose additional remedies available under the club's discipline schedule, the CBA, and your NFL player contract, including but not limited to additional fines and discipline for engaging in conduct detrimental to the club. Brown's commentary to the image. When your own team want to hate, but there's no stopping me now. Devil is a lie. Everyone got to pay this year, so we clear. Antonio Brown, you are a dumb fuck. You are calling out the GM and the team that wanted you.
And is paying you.
And is paying you more
than they should.
Don't do this. Second off, Tommy Canley is back to his Eagles ways. According to Zach Britton, he fully funds the Eagles fan store. Today, he walked out in a Fletcher Cox jersey. Today was travel day for the Yankees, so they were doing, I think the Yankees have their fantasy draft tonight on the plane or something. Are we in Boston this weekend, Nick?
To be honest, I don't know.
Yeah, we are in Boston, so it's probably on the flight. They're doing the draft or something. They probably wouldn't do the draft on a 15-minute flight to Boston anyway. Chance Adams is wearing a Jeremiah Trotter jersey.
Plus,
you'll appreciate that. It's an Eagles Trotter jersey.
And his son plays for, I believe, St. Joe's Prep.
Glaber
High school.
Glaber's rocking Saquon Barkley, and Zach Britton is rocking a Von Miller jersey. The Yankees continue to play well, which I'm not surprised. The The Blues sent a Stanley Cup ring to the family of Laura Branigan. It's really nice, the entire ring. Really, really sweet of them. Derek Brassard is wearing 10 for the Islanders and was wearing Jan Kovac's pro stock gloves that were in the Islanders' locker room during the open practice yesterday that was run by the players, which I think is hilarious because everybody thinks that the last number 10 for the Isles was Alan Quine, and I come in saying, no, wait, something happened last year. We paid a guy $2 million to maybe be our second line center. That never worked. And the last thing I'm going to say is the Denver Broncos are now playing at Empower Field at Mile High. They are being sponsored by a online retirement firm.
I mean, they gotta get sponsored somehow.
Empower Field at Mile High. At least it's not guarantee rate field, where the only guarantee rate you'll get is a hit from Eloy Jimenez and a price of beer. All right, Andrew.
Philadelphia Union are in first place in the Eastern Conference.
We're in second.
Thanks to a tremendous effort against defending MLS Cup champs, US Open Cup champs, and Campeones Cup champs, Atlanta United. Despite having a goal taken off the board in the first half due to offside, and then conceding a goal right before halftime to Joseph Martinez, because of course Joseph Martinez scores. What else does he do? Nothing.
And of course
he just scores.
Because of course it was.
Yeah. And they showed great heart coming back out in that second half, dominating possession for the most part, and scoring 3 times. The most impressive stat this year I've seen is their goal differential when Ilsinho is on the field. The Union are a plus 26 when Ilsinho is on the field. That is, and he has played just under 10 games in terms of minutes played this year. Just under 10 games, and the Union are a plus 26. When defenders see him waiting at the halfway line to come on, they're like, oh crap, we've been defending for an hour. Now we have to deal with this guy? The guy with arguably more moves than anyone else in MLS? To come in and terrorize defenses for the last half hour, 45 minutes, however long he's on in relief. On as a sub. They were a plus 3 against Atlanta when Ilsinho was on the field. They have a huge match in 10 days where they welcome league-leading LAFC to Talent Energy Stadium, which has become a fortress for the Union. You come into Talent Energy Stadium, most likely you are not walking out of there with 3 points. At best, you're walking out with a draw. That is how good the Union are at home. And finally, I'm going to do a quick prediction for Sunday's season opener between the Eagles and the Redskins. I believe the Eagles' defensive line is going to get at least 3 sacks on Case Keenum. The last time Case Keenum played a game in Philadelphia, the NFC Championship game, where he threw a pick 6 and was not very good outside of the first drive, where he threw the touchdown to Kyle Rudolph. But this Eagles defense against the offensive line for the Redskins it's not even fair. And Carson Wentz to Deshaun Jackson, first play of the game, touchdown. Book it. Eagles take an easy win.
All right.
35-7.
Really? Well, I mean, you are playing the Redskins.
Yes, we're playing the Redskins. They don't have much of a defense, and the Eagles' offense is scary. Ertz, Goddard, there's just too many weapons to even name. I forget some sometimes. And also, Friday nights I broadcast high school football for my old high school, and we actually got the game of the week this week from our local CBS station. They're doing their local Friday football frenzy. Is their game of the week is our game this weekend, so that'll be cool. It's also a big game because we're facing one of our biggest rivals and also honoring the 1999 state championship team. So it'll be a cool atmosphere on Friday night. If you guys want to listen, we do our broadcast. We're going on the air about 6:40 Friday night at havenfootball.net. Scott?
All right. Ren, do you want to talk about how the Jets did the smart thing and not let Darnold and Adams speak to the Buffalo media yesterday?
No, you could take that. You might have a better.
Or do you want to talk about the Mets? The Mets Metsing.
I'll talk about that. So, let's see. I'm just going to take out today's win out of perspective right now. Let's just going to talk about yesterday. So, Scott, you were talking while this happened, right? Just tell them what my reaction was. We're like,
silent. He was silent. He wasn't saying anything. And I was there reading off everything on Twitter to him. And he just had a reaction.
Yep. So, that's going to be the worst loss I'll probably ever experience while I'm alive. Just going to say that now.
One of the, if not the worst loss in Mets.
No, the worst. It's the worst. I did some research. It is the worst. By like statistically.
Few losses that can compare to that. If you're talking about embarrassing losses, I mean, you've always got the notable he dropped the ball incident, but
yeah, but the difference is that game was close. This shouldn't have been close. But that's what happens when your bullpen sucks.
The fact that, and I could continue making an argument, like I may be a Yankee fan, but I'm a baseball fan. And I may not have a big like for the Mets and Red Sox, but if I need to make my debate, I will. For the Mets, come on. You decide to bring in Louis Avilan to face Juan Soto.
It wasn't really the best idea. I rather would have brought in Wilson, which I don't know where the hell he was in that game. He didn't even pitch the first game, so he was like fresh.
You should have brought in Wilson.
Yep. Wait, give me a second here.
You should have brought in Wilson at the start of the ninth. Because if you bring in Justin Wilson at the start of the ninth, you have to take into account who was there starting at the top of the ninth. Paul frickin' Sewald.
Yep. And and I don't know about you guys, but I'm a firm believer of bring in your best weapon. I don't care if it's a big lead. You shut them down with your best guys. Like, I don't care what you do with Lugo. You make him hit.
Chapman tonight. It was a 4-0 win, or it was a 4-1 win. 4-0.
8-4 win.
Roof Netodor hit a solo shot in the ninth, but Corey Guerin finished out the ninth. Not bringing Aroldis Chapman at all tonight.
Well then.
And the best part in Trenton right now, where the Thunder pulled a come from behind win against the Reading Fighting Phils tonight. Jordan Montgomery, Luis Severino, Dellin Betances, and Tyro Estrada are all rehabbing or are going to rehab at some point during that series. Giancarlo Stanton may be rehabbing there or in Scranton Wilkes-Barre in a couple of days. Gio Urshela is coming off the injured list soon. Stephen Tarpley going on a pitching program. Jonathan Holder, pitching program. So you're going to start seeing the Yankees come off the injured list, and you're going to start seeing them rely less and less on Britton and Ottavino and Kinley every game. You're going to see them maybe we don't like Chance Adams, but maybe we'll see Chance Adams throw 2 innings here and there. Maybe we'll continue to see Jonathan Loaizaga in some high pressure situations, which that could be an audition for next year, especially if Dylan Betances walks in free agency. Maybe we start seeing like Tyler Lyons a little bit more, Ryan Dull a little bit more. I mean, Trevor Rosenthal's kind of been doo-doo in AAA, so I doubt he's going to get called up. And they just cut David Hernandez from AAA. Maybe Ben Heller will come up. Heller and Garcia will probably be options along with Higashioka, unless the catcher gets hurt after the Scranton playoff run is over.
Okay, so I'm just going to continue here. So, yeah, that happened. What I'm more weirded out is that you somehow won today. Because usually, the usual Mets would be, after this loss, you should be getting blown out. Not rebounding and winning. So, for me, I mean, yeah, you won the series, but you should have swept them. You 100% should have swept them. And now we have a 3-game series with the Phils, which I don't even know what the hell is going to happen with that series. A bunch of bullshit. It's probably going to be a sweep by the Phils, I would think, by pessimist. But for me, I'm just... What?
A Philly sweep?
I mean,
10 games over 500? No, that's not going to happen.
I don't know. Mets in September are a very weird thing. For me, like, I'm just kind of happy at the fact that I'm going back and forth, even thinking the Mets are even have a chance. It's insanely unlikely, but I'm happy at the fact that I'm even thinking of, hey, you could do something. Like, that's really where I am at. Like, am I mad they lost yesterday? Yeah. I'm not gonna, go and rage. I'm happy at the fact that they're in a race in fucking September when they're the Mets. That's how I put it. And other than that, yay, football tomorrow. And 2, RFAs, we need you to sign quicker. Yeah, it's great that 2 of them signed, but we need more. We need progress.
3 of them signed today. Kempe, McCown, and Goldobin.
Yeah, progress. We need more.
And an RFA for next year signed already.
We need the big names to sign.
We need them to sign, and we need them to sign now.
And finally, Nick, you got anything?
Yeah, so football season. It's back, which is nice. It also means we're only a month away from hockey season, which is nicer. I'm excited to watch the Packers-Bears game tomorrow. Bears are gonna win. Yeah, it's just that time of year where every sport that isn't baseball is getting back in the swing of things, and it's nice. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get FIFA for the first time in forever. That'll be a nice change of pace to play that instead of NHL, because while I love watching hockey, God, EA makes horrible hockey games. Yeah, and just ready for football.
Sports. Yes, it's a thing. You can never go wrong with it. But you can never go right with it. Because the fact that PTOs are being signed before RFAs, especially with teams that still have RFAs on them, mind that, is a problem. Just before I end it off, Renz, how many major RFAs do you think we'll see unsigned going into opening night?
How many major RFAs do I see seeing
going into opening night tonight? How many, or going into opening night this season? How many do you think will be unsigned?
How many?
Mm-hmm.
I really hope this isn't the number 7.
Andrew,
I'm gonna go with 5.
Nick,
All of them.
I'm gonna say 6, and I think it's gonna be Mitch Marner, Patrick Laine, Kyle Connor, Anthony D'Angelo, Ivan Provorov, and Miko Rantanen. And that is it for a very fun, wild, pun not intended, episode. Next week, more trivia because that was fun today, I have to say. And I guess a little bit of football week 1 talk on Tuesday, hockey predictions